Testing 1, 2. Yes, we're back on live. Sorry, I had a little issue with my mic there. This is TSSN Radio, Spear Nation Radio, live from Smyrna High School, home of the Bulldogs, as Sequatchie County takes on, and if this sounds like a repeat, it's because it is. They take on Loudon High School here in Smyrna for this losers bracket game in the state championship tournament here, Class AA, TWSAA, Sequatchie County. They will be the away team again, same dugout they were in last night, looking over at the red team in Loudon, the Loudon Redskins. Loudon, how did they get here today? Well, by the way, last night we had a 12-inning game. Loudon wins over Sequatchie County 4-0 in the 12th inning. This morning, Sequatchie County played Haywood. They won 6-4. And then Loudon earlier today at 12:30, they lost to Forest 5-1. Brody Bingham, he's had 6 innings pitched. He pitched the entire game with 6 strikeouts. When you pitch the entire game, I'd be interested to see who they start here. And they did start. I believe I got that right there. They did end up starting, sorry, I had it in my notes right there. Jackson Duncan, he was the second baseman last night when they were here. So they've got Jasper Cooley, who was the courtesy runner last night for a lot of those runners. He never got home really, but they traded him in and they got him in. And Nathan Hickman is going to move over to second base. So for the Redskins, Austin Myers is going to be top of the lineup. He's the designated hitter, followed by Caden Dawkins, the right fielder. Nathan Hickman, second base. On third, Andrew Gibson. First base, Brody Bingham. Cade Smith, the shortstop. Jacob Mallory out in left field. And, right before Cade Smith, I put it in my notes here. Jackson Duncan is going to be the pitcher tonight. He's 33. And then batting seventh in the lineup is going to be Jasper Cooley, the left fielder, followed by Mackenzie Lunsford, the center fielder. And then Rylan Watson is going to be not batting tonight, but he will be out there on the field since they do have a designated hitter. Now for the Indians lineup, as they will start off because they are going to be the away team here in this game like they were last night. So Colin Cooper is going to be leading off. He's not pitching today, so he's just going to be in center field. Colin Hudson at shortstop. Bodie Terry at second base. Trevor Ritchie at left field. Austin Mitchell on first base. Griffin Hall out at third. Tyler Lynn out there in right field. That's going to be Caden Swanner. It's going to be the designated hitter tonight. And Logan Potts, he's going to be ninth in the lineup. He's the catcher. And your pitcher for tonight for the Indians, Zach Lockhart. So we got a great game of great night of ball tonight here for you in Smyrna, Tennessee, as we welcome you in to TSSN Radio. And again, Jackson Duncan for Loudon on the mound. Beautiful day. Been a hot day here today. It's getting the 90s today here in the Murfreesboro area, the mid-state. Loudon in the white pants and gray, looks like gray, maybe dark gray shirts here. Looks like gray or looks closer to a dark gray there on the jerseys with red stripes on the sleeve, red hats. For them, Sequatchie County donning those gold hats with the purple bill there. They're wearing similar uniforms to what they wore last night, except they're wearing the white uniforms, white pants, white shirts, the gold stripe with a little bit of purple mixed in there across the chest. As up first is going to be Colin Cooper. Cooper batting .290. Oh, excuse me, no, that's all right. He's batting .345 on the season, 11 RBIs, 16 stolen bases, and .465 on base percentage. That is him. So, Cooper takes the first pitch. It's going to be outside there. We got a ball here for the first pitch here to Colin Cooper. Thank you for joining us. This should be shared on the Spear. Couldn't get it shared on my page before we started, so be sure to share that if you can. And that's going to be, you're going to catch him swinging. That's going to be a strike one there, 1-1 count in this one so far. And here comes the pitch. And it's going to be low in there. It's going to be a ball. Pitch coming from Duncan. Duncan is on the hill tonight. He's going to look down, let it release, and it's going to be hit. And that's the first hit in 2 games for this Sequatchie County crew. First batter, and it's going to be a single there down the line, down the middle of the field there. That is the first hit Sequatchie County has been able to muster up in now 2 contests with the Loudon Redskins. And I talked to Coach Darren Eastley. You'll hear the interview here at the end of the first inning. He talked about the fact that they're coming in and they feel like they're cornered. They play best when they're cornered. So Colin Hudson is up next. He's the shortstop for the Indians, a senior. Brothers Dakota Hudson. He pitches for the St. Louis Cardinals. He might have learned a thing or two on the mound from him, as he's the number 1 pitcher and still not been on the mound, but 2 innings this go around. That's going to be outside. No, he's not going to get the strike there in a 1-0 count to Hudson. Hudson looking down to Coach E on the third base line down there. Going to see what he needs to do. He steps into the box. Duncan looks over at first for a brief second. He's going to check down the sign. Yes, he wants it. No, he's going to throw to first, and they're not going to get him. Not even going to get anywhere close to him. And now he comes back up to the mound. Like I said, beautiful day here. Great facility here at Smyrna High School. I love the green fence. It makes you feel like you're on a major league or maybe a minor league field, how the green fences are set up with the yellow tops on them. 370 out there at the center field fence, and that's going to be a foul ball down the third base line. And it's going to be a 1-1 count now for Hudson that he's going to be working on. And Cooper gets there on a single, so 1 on, no outs for the Indians here in Smyrna. 1-1 count coming to Hudson. He's going to step into the box. A look over to the first base for Duncan. Here comes the pitch. It's in there, and he's going to call a strike on that one. That was on the far end of the box from Hudson. Hudson's a right-handed batter, so he's in the left side of the batter's box when you're looking over here from the press box. So it was over there on the far side for him. It was on the edge of that. His reach over there, really, but it is a strike. They throw to first, don't even get to the ground with it. They just throw it to the first baseman, and he throws it right back. That's 2 checkdowns in this at-bat over to first base. They must be concerned about Cooper, and maybe it's just because they haven't seen a base runner for Sequatchie on base, really, except once in the last game in that 12th inning, and that was a long, long time ago as Hudson hits it off behind us over here, and it's going to be a foul ball. Still a 1-2 count here. I want to thank y'all for joining us here for this TSSN radio special broadcast of the state tournament. We were at Sequatchie County. We were at the Starplex today for softball. They get the victory 7-0 over Alcoa. So they're doing pretty good. They're going to play tomorrow at 10 a.m., and that's going to be a wild pitch outside, or I'm going to call it a pass ball. It wasn't really wild. It just got out of the catcher, and now Cooper goes on a and Cooper's going to go out there to second on the pass ball. And it's going to be Duncan. He's going to look back at second. Cooper with a little bit of a lead out there. It's going to throw out, and it's going to be right, and he's going to go to third. They're not going to get it in time. He's going to muffle the ball around, so another pass ball gets him to third, and that's 2 stolen bases there for Cooper. Hudson's going to step back up. Still, we got a full count on him after those 2 pass balls. A little bit of nerves getting to Duncan here. He's got 2 pass balls, and I think that's more the catcher just not being in the zone there. It's going to be fouled off over here to the right behind us in the press box over here. Hudson waiting for his pitch, and he's going to foul him off until he gets it. No outs, 1 on for the Indians. That lone Indian on the base path is Colin Cooper. He got on with a single and then stole 2 bases to get there, and Hudson's going to foul off again here and it's going to be over to the right over here into the Sequatchie County stands. Again, the same setup as last night. If you were here at the game and couldn't be here today, you were here last night. Same setup. Sequatchie fans on the right, on the first base line, and on the third base line, you have the Loudon fans. And there's a lot more sun out here today. The sun is closer to the top of the sky than the horizon. And he's going to hit it right down to the first baseman, and he's going to step on, and that's going to be a ground out to first. And it's going to be 1 out there now for Hudson. And Cooper stays where he is because just too close to chance it right there to go home. So now Bodie Terry, the pitcher from last night that we saw take over late in that game and get some strikeouts in, the second baseman tonight. He is up, and Duncan on the mound. He's a right-handed pitcher, so he's looking at third base. And we're waiting on him to send the pitch. He looks over at third. He sends it in, and it's going to be strike because he's going to swing there, and that was an awfully low ball to hit at for Bodie Terry. 0-1 count now for Terry. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be hit up into shallow center field, and it's going to drop. And now Cooper's going to get a run, and the first run scored for Sequatchie County in this basically, you can call it a two-game series. They played 2 games in the span of 3 against Loudon, and Terry's going to get on first, and now we have a score for Sequatchie County. He gets the RBI on that one. Duncan's going to look over to first. Terry with a little bit of a lead. He's going to step back after that pitch, and that's going to be low. A ball there for Richie, who is now up at the plate. Number 12, he's the left fielder for the Indians. Duncan on the mound. Looks over at first, gives a look. Terry get a little bit of a lead there, not past the circle, and he's going to come back and get back on base. They're not going to catch him. And Duncan, that's about the third time he's thrown over to first in this inning. A little bit worried about these base runners, and you should be. 2 stolen bases on past balls here of late. They're going to throw it back to first. It's the 4th time he's thrown over to first in this inning. At this point, he's got more pitches to first base than he has to Trevor Ritchie, who's only taken 1 ball down at home plate. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be outside. He's not going to call it a strike, so now a 2-0 count to Ritchie. Duncan seems a little bit uncomposed. Looks over to first base again. Will he throw it again? I don't know. At this point, he's got as many pitches to him as he does to Ritchie, and he throws it again. And if you're looking for the count, we got a 2-0 count, but we've got 3 to first base over here. And Duncan, right-handed pitcher, he's going to throw it finally. It's going to hit, and Ritchie's going to hit it to right field. It's going to be caught by the right fielder for Loudon. That's going to be Caden Dawkins out there, and that's going to be a fly out to right field. That's 2 outs. 1 on right now. 1 run for the Indians. They've scored finally in this series, and Coach E a little bit more confident in his team today after seeing Loudon earlier. Loudon looks a little bit depleted in pitching in their pitching staff. Sequatchie has a little bit more depth than they do, or at least we're not playing the pitchers that they were. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there, and it's going to be a strike, even though the catcher dropped it. So Austin Mitchell up to bat. He's the first baseman, number 16, a junior for the Indians. Duncan. Terry's still with the lead out there at first. Duncan's going to look at him, think about it. No, he's going to just get ready to pitch it, and he does. Hit by Mitchell. It's going to go to right field. Same right fielder over there to Dawkins, and that's going to retire the side, and that's a fly out to right field for the Indians, excuse me. Sorry, I got a little bit tongue-tied there. And so we will go to the bottom of the first. Your Indians, they lead 1-0, and a big smile on Coach E's face as he comes to talk to his catcher, Logan Potts, down at home. He's talking to the umpire now, giving a little smile, a little bit looser than he was last night, talking to the umpire. But great game, and we're going to go ahead and give you his interview, 2-minute interview we had with him before the game. Y'all take a listen. Chandler Morrison, TSS and Radio here with head coach Darren Easterly. Coach, how are we doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. So, Coach, how's your team feeling today going into this second game one day? Is that something y'all do a lot, or is that something that's kind of unique?
Well, towards the end of the season there, we played in a couple tournaments where we play a couple of days. So, it's not anything that we're a stranger to. I think the biggest thing was, having the break there to get our legs back under us from that marathon we played last night. And then, this one this morning. So, but they look like they're ready to go.
Now, of course, I saw Mitchell Hudson got in a little bit, not too much today. How are you feeling with pitching now?
I still feel good. You know, we got quality guys left that, you know, fill the strike zone up and give our defense a chance to make plays. So, you know, I feel as good about this one as I do any of them.
This is a really tough draw, having to play Loudon twice in 3 games.
You know, I think we saw their studs last night, so I think it'd be quite a different ball game today.
So, do you see any, I guess with the pitching, I guess you're talking about, with them having a lot of pitching last night and dealing with that a lot, do you anticipate that they'll use kind of those same 2 guys since they've worked, or do you think they're going to rest them, or what do you anticipate as a coach?
Well, from what we saw numbers-wise, they're burnt, so they won't be able to come back against us today. You know, they'll have to get through us before they'll get to take the mound again. So they're going to have to use some different guys on the mound today against us, and you know, we'll see what they got.
And that was an interview with Coach E. We'll continue that at the top of the second inning there. As the first pitch comes in, it's going to be just outside for a 1-0 count on Austin Myers, who is up for the Loudon Redskins. The pitch from Lockhart is going to be in there and a strike. Got a 1-1 count now on Myers. He is the designated hitter, 34 for the Redskins. Again, the Redskins in the gray jersey, white pants. As Myers gets a piece of it, he's going to get it to the shortstop, and it's going to be an out, a ground out to shortstop. He's going to get it to Austin Mitchell at first, and that will be the first out of the inning. All right, and here comes Caden Dawkins for the Loudon Redskins. He's the right fielder at number 6 for Loudon. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart, and it's going to be down the third base line. It will be fair. They're going to – and Hall can't come up with it there. He's going to he's going to kind of drop it there, and they are going to get one on base. Will that go down as an error? Error on the third baseman there. All right, Nathan Higman, he was the pitcher last night when the Indians faced him, and he had a perfect game until they pulled him out. But now he's the second baseman for the Redskins. Looking at Dawkins over on first. Lockhart does. He goes with the pitch, and he's going to be outside there as Potts has to dive out a little bit for that one. So a 1-0 count there. Lockhart on the mound. Zach Lockhart, senior. They're going to throw to. He's going to throw to first, and they're not going to get him. Just a little bit more of a power move there. He's going to hit the pitch, and it's going to be just outside that zone there. And we got a 2-0 count here against Hickman. 1 out, 1 on for the Redskins. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart. It's going to be hit down to the shortstop. They're going to go to first. They're going to get him at first. That was a close one there, but that is going to be an out. That's going to be a ground out to shortstop for out number 2 of this inning. Colin Hudson over there at short. And Colin Hudson over there at short, he's doing a good job. He's already got 2 groundouts here in this bottom half of the first inning. And Gibson up to bat now, Andrew Gibson for the Redskins. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be outside, a pass ball. And that's going to get Dawkins over to third. And he got the second on a sac hit there, and he's going to get there on a wild pitch. Here it comes, and it's going to be strike. One count on Gibson. 2 outs, 1 on for the Redskins here in Smyrna, Tennessee for the Class AA State Championships. And it's going to get past the catcher, And on third, Dawkins not going to risk it here, but does get past him. That's going to be ball number 2 on this at bat. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart off the mound. It's going to go down the third base line over to Hall. He has it this time and gets it to Mitchell for the third out. Nobody scores there because it's a ground out to third base. And that will retire the side. Next up for the Redskins is going to be Bingham, Duncan, and Smith, the 5, 6, 7 on the next 3 up. And we'll continue that interview we had with Coach E here in just a moment.
Have to get through us before they'll get to take the mound again. So they're going to have to use some different guys on the mound today against us, and we'll see what they got.
So on this team, is it more pressure? Or are they more loose now that it's kind of win or go home, or how do they feel about that?
I'll be honest with you. I think when we get cornered, that's when we play our best ball. And the guys kind of they feel it right now, and we're a loose team anyways to begin with, and I think that's one of the things that held us back last night, just these guys never having this opportunity before, and it's new experience for them. So we loosened up quite a bit this morning, and I think we're going to play loose today too.
And last question here for you, Coach. You feel home a little bit with this purple and gold all around you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It's nice to walk in here and see all this purple and gold around here. So, it's a great ballpark, a beautiful ballpark, so we're enjoying it.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
And we're back here with TSSN Radio. Up to bat for the Indians, Griffin Hall, Tyler Lynn, and Caden Swan are your next 3 up. Excuse me there. 1-0 lead Sequatchie County has here in the top of the second. And on the mound still Jackson Duncan, 33 for the Redskins. Hall in the box. He's going to get the first pitch and foul it off into the Sequatchie County stands over here to the right. They're going to get another ball here. Give it to the pitcher. Duncan, waiting the umpire. He gives him the signal. Here he goes. It's going to be hit, and it's going to be fouled off again. And just like that, we got a 0-2 count. No outs, nobody on here in the top of the second. Sequatchie County leads 1-0, and it didn't take long to get a score in this one after 11 innings and no score last night. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be low in there, and that's going to be a ball. Got the 1-2 count here. We want to thank y'all for tuning in, and please share the broadcast so people can see it. And we'd love to give you some shout-outs if y'all want to tell us how much you love these Indians here in Murfreesboro and you can't be here. Well, just comment on the Spreaker app, and we will get you going, and we'll give some shout-outs, and we'll tell the Indians how much you appreciate it. With a 2-2 count now after the pass ball, and it's going to be hitting that gap between second and shortstop. Doesn't touch the ground till about shallow center field. And Griffin Hall, just like that, is on first base with a single. And now coming up is Tyler Lynn, right fielder for the Indians. He was out in outfield last night on that crucial play against Loudon that gave the first run to the Redskins. He's going to look at his wrist, step into the box, put the bat behind his head. He's going to show a bunt. It's going to be hit. He's going to pull back, and it's going to be inside, and it's going to be a ball. Lynn's going to look back for the sign at Coach E. He's sitting out there on third base outside the Loudon dugout. Here comes the pitch from Duncan. They're going to throw down to second. Will they get him? And they're going to call him safe there, and he's going to get a stolen base there. Griffin Hall is. He gets the first on a single, now stolen base. 1 on for the Indians. That is Griffin Hall out there at second. Umpires readjusting where they are. First base umpire comes out behind the mound. Third base goes out here behind third. We got a 1-1 count here for Lynn. Duncan looks back at second. Now he throws. It's going to be hit to about that same spot, just a little bit to the left in shallow center field there. And now we got runners on the corner as Lynn gets a base hit there. And now Hall on the single gets to third. So now runners on the corners for the Indians. And up next in the lineup is Caden Swanner, number 15, the designated hitter. After him would be Logan Potts. Zach Lockhart not hitting today. He's going to be stepping out as the designated hitter is Caden Swanner here tonight, number 15. Little meeting between the catcher and the pitcher there for a moment. Now they're going to come back and get ready to get this game back underway. 1-0 the lead to Sequatchie County in this top of the second inning here. Got 2 on, no outs for the Indians, and runners on the corners. That is Griffin Hall and Tyler Lynn out there. Now, Duncan adjusts his cap. Looking at third base. Now he looks at first. He's a right-handed pitcher. And, oh, wow, they're going to throw to first, and they're going to miss him, and they're going to throw it to second, and that gets Griffin Hall home on the throwdown. And now Tyler Lynn sits at second after some miscues there by the offense and the pitcher, Duncan. So now it's a 2-0 lead here for Sequatchie County in this second inning. And about a run an inning's pretty good when you're averaging that, so that's what they're doing now. Duncan's going to get a little bit of his composure. Caden Swanner still down there. Hasn't been pitched to yet. This will be his first. He'll foul it off down on the ground and back to the fence down to my left. I'm up in the press box, in case you were familiar with last night. Sequatchie County fans filling up the stands over here and down the fence down there. You can see them there. And Caden Swanner with an 0-1 count on him as Duncan looks back at second. Now he's going to look again. Going to look down. He's in a little bit of a lead there, and he's going to throw it in there. It's going to be inside and high there for Swanner, and it's going to be a 1-1 count. Lynn, one of these, not afraid to get a lead. 14 stolen bases on the year, and he got one earlier, basically on that miscue. And the pitch is going to be fouled off by Swanner, and now we got a 1-2 count here as the ball gets past the catcher. They're going to replenish that ball there. The umpire is 2-0. Sequatchie County leads, no outs. 1 on, he's on second. His name's Tyler Lynn, and a 1-2 count as Swanner is up to bat. He's got a 1-2 count. Here comes Duncan. He's going to look back at second. Lynn has a little bit of a lead. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be fouled off up and over the press box, and that one's gone for a little bit, at least till they get it around the fence. Still a 1-2 count. Beautiful field here. Great field with the grass infield. Always love to see that on a baseball field. Duncan, here comes the pitch as he looks down at second. That's going to be high and outside. That's going to be a 2-2 count now for Swanner. No outs, 2-2 count. Swanner in the box for the Indians. Lynn getting a little bit more of a lead than he's gotten used to. He's going to step out a little bit and wait for the catcher. Now he's going to step back with that outside pitch, but it is caught by the catcher. So now we're full up here in the top of the second with one score already in this inning. We got a 2-0 lead for Sequatchie County. And Duncan on the mound. He's going to look back a second, throw it. It's going to be outside, and he'll walk Swanner, and that's how he'll get to first. Now 2 on for the Indians with no outs. You got to think this is a great situation for Sequatchie County. Now up to bat, Logan Potts. Colin Cooper, the leadoff, is going to be on deck now with no outs. So you got to imagine he'll get a chance to bat in this inning unless something bizarre happens. And when you got your leadoff hitter who already scored, things are going to get a little bit better for this Indian offense, and we could be seeing them playing tomorrow. Duncan's going to look over at first. They're going to get the bunt, and the first baseman's going to come in, and that's going to be fouled off and hit the catcher there. Potts does. got the adjustment there. What's happening is you got the first and second baseman. The first baseman's coming down toward home plate. The second baseman going over toward first to cover first if the bunt gets laid down and gets fair territory. Lynn still on second. That is Swanner on first, and he got walked there. Lynn with a single and then a stolen base to get there. He's going to take a wide lead. Lynn does. It's going to be in there, and it's going to be outside. We got a 1-1 count now. Lynn's going to back up to the base. Duncan on the mound. He's going to come in. He's going to look back at second to Lynn. And they're going to throw him out. No, the ball's going to get to center field. He's going to run to third. Are they going to get him? Mishandle the ball, and Lynn is at third on a miscue by the defense. And Sequatchie County is definitely in the Redskins' head tonight, as several miscues have caused Lynn to go only from first to second now. Is that his second error? Second error for Duncan. Not a lot of times you see an error on the pitcher like that, but 2 errors already for Duncan in 2 innings. Both of them in this inning, actually. So we got runners on the corner. Tyler Lynn on third. They're going to throw down to who's on first. Caden, that's who. Caden Swanner. And they don't get him, so now runners on the corners. We got a 1-1 count, no outs here, and Logan Potts is up to bat. Even if he gets out here, you've got your leadoff batter, and then Colin Hudson after him coming. Cooper and Hudson are the next 2 up after Potts. And they're going to get a strike on him, and that's going to be a stolen base there by Caden Swanner. So 2 runners in scoring position there. 1-2 count there. Now for Potts. Infield coming in here. They're going to shade inside here. They're maybe anticipating a bunt. And it's going to be just outside of the zone there, and he got a 2-2 count. There is infield grass here. Usually the infielders are going to play toward the back of that infield, and now they're inside here. So they're standing on the edge of the infield grass here. Duncan comes with the pitch. It's going to be in there, and it's going to be just outside that zone for a full count now. With 2 on for the Indians, that is Lynn and Swanner. Lynn on third, Swanner on second. Both got there on stolen bases and some miscues there by the defense. Logan Potts, he's got a full count. Duncan looking at him. He's going to look down. Not even going to look at the base runners. He hits the Potts. Potts into center field. Is he going to catch it? Yes, he's going to catch it, but that's only going to be the first out of the inning. And so Lynn gets home. He's going to round third for the second run of this inning. Out to center. Fly out to center field there, and Caden Swanner will stay where he is out on second. We got a 3-0 lead here for Sequatchie County. The bats are starting to pour in. Cooper, the leadoff batter here in the second inning, already getting a chance to come around again. Hudson on deck for the Indians here. Here comes the pitch from Duncan. He's going to look back at second base. Swanner with a little bit of a lead. It's going to be hit there. Going to be a rolling ball, a little bit of a breaking one to the second baseman, and he's going to get home. He's going to get to first, and he's going to be safe there. And Caden Swanner advances to third. That is a big infield single there for Colin Cooper, the center fielder for the Indians. And now Colin Hudson, the shortstop, up to bat. Last time around, he grounded out to first. Is he going to change up what he does here now that he's seen this new pitcher for Loudon? We got two Indians on the corners. Swanner and Cooper. Cooper on first, Swanner on second. No outs. Not a pitch thrown to Hudson yet. We're still waiting on that as Duncan stretches out a little bit. Duncan's going to look over at first where Cooper doesn't have any kind of lead at all. And it's going to get past the catcher, and now Cooper's going to get to second there on a wild pitch. I want to thank our listeners for tuning in. And Duncan on the mound. We'll give some shout-outs at the end of the half inning here. Here comes Duncan with a pitch. It's going to be outside. He's not going to call the strike. It does get past the catcher, though. And just like that, we've got a 2-0 count here against Colin Hudson, or against Duncan here, who is the pitcher. Now, Duncan and his catcher, Watson, are going to talk it out on the mound as Hudson goes over to talk to Coach E over down the third base line. Again, 2 on for the Indians. There's 1 on second, 1 on third. That's Caden Swanner on third. Colin Cooper on second. He got there on a wild pitch. Hudson steps into the box. Duncan. He's going to look down. Long look here. He's going to look back at second. Swanner has a pretty good lead over there. Hudson's going to hit to right field, and it's going to be foul down the right field pole there, and almost probably about 10 feet to the fence back there, pretty close. And so now that's going to be a strike on him. So now we have a 2-1 count here with 1 out in this inning. That lone out there was Logan Potts, who flew out to center field. Hudson shaking his bat around a little bit. Duncan looks to second, then to third. Swanner with a lead, and Cooper also with a lead, and that's going to be a strike down there, and he's not even going to swing at that one. 2-2 count here for Colin Hudson. Cooper with a pretty wide lead back there at second. No one's on second base, though, and Hudson's going to foul it off over here past the stands on the first base side over here. So still a 2-2 count to him. Here in Smyrna, Tennessee, for the Class AA Baseball State Championships. This is the loser's bracket. The winner of this one will face Forest tomorrow. Here comes the pitch. It's in there, it's high, and it's going to be a ball. So 3-2 count, full up now we have. That game tomorrow would be at 2 o'clock here in Smyrna. And there would be an if game after that, and the champion at this 4-team bracket goes on to play the champion of the other 4-team bracket, and that's going to be down the right field line, and it's going to be foul ball, and Hudson will come back to home plate, excuse me. Hudson, a good at-bat, a good fight for this at-bat. I want to thank all our listeners for tuning in. I promise I'll get to the shout-outs at the end of this inning. They've stretched this inning, which is good for you, the listener. 3-0 the lead for Sequatchie County over Loudon. And this is a team that beat them 4-0 in 12 innings last night. Let's remind you of that debacle. I think their pitching staff is really, really depleted, where we had a little bit more depth than they did, and they had a little better pitchers. As that ball goes outside, and now the bases are loaded as Colin Hudson gets walked to first. Umpires adjusting on the field. First base umpire comes down to first. Third base umpire comes to the left of the pitcher's mound between second and third, looking from the press box. Now up to bat, Bodie Terry. Wait, is that Bodie? Mitchell, sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Wait. That is Bodie Terry, sorry. He looked a little bit shorter on the mound than he does down here toward the home plate, so looked a little different to me, I guess. But he is down here, and that's going to be a ball there, as there's a conference at the mound between now the catcher, the pitcher, and head coach for Loudon. That is Jason Lambert there. So Duncan, Coach Lambert, and Rylan Watson, the catcher, all standing at the mound. Maybe I don't think that it doesn't look like they're going to make a pitch and change. Looks like he's just going to talk to him for a second. Umpire coming over to see what the deal is, if they're just calming him down or if they're going to change pitchers or whatever. So, yeah, he's just going to talk to him. He's going to continue to pitch this inning. So now we have bases loaded, 3-0 lead for Sequatchie County, and 1 ball, 0 strikes, 1 out. Bodie Terry up to bat, and it is a 1-0 count here. So that's good for him against Duncan. Terry, he's going to step in. Here comes the pitch from Duncan. It's going to be low in the zone, and they're not going to call it a strike. Now a 2-0 count here for Terry. Terry, bases loaded, only one out. This should boost your confidence a little bit, should give you a little bit of ease. And now we got time from the coach, Coach Lambert over here. This is his second timeout here in as many pitches. So we will get a pitching change here, it looks like. Number 33, Duncan, he's going to come off the mound. And now number 32 for the Redskins, Jacob Mallory, he's going to step in. And Mallory, I believe he was pitching earlier today. No, that was Bingham, excuse me. Mallory did get one inning pitched in that game last night versus Sequatchie County. No stats to report there. Didn't really do anything, but he did have one inning pitched last night versus Sequatchie County and had a little bit of success against them. So here's how we sit right now. Mitchell with only 6 innings pitched. Terry with 2.2. Hudson with 2 innings pitched. Hudson really that ace for Sequatchie County, 0 errors. And when he has been in 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts for him. Mitchell with 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. Colin Cooper, he has 6 innings pitched from that game last night, and he had 2 strikeouts. And Lockhart, of course, 1 strikeout. He's only got 1 chance on this mound tonight, and he hasn't had a strikeout yet. But Jacob Mallory up on the hill for the Redskins. We're waiting for him to warm up, and then we'll get action continue to go. I want to give a shout-out to Stephanie Higdon, Eddie Seals. Eddie, I appreciate you being on here and listening and helping all the folks out on here. And Amy General, go Indians. She's listening all the way from New York. Great to hear that. And Tracy Jackson says a big go Indians to the Indians out here as they try to continue their quest for the state title. Smyrna, Tennessee is where we're at. Smyrna High School here close to Murfreesboro for the Spring Fling. This is Spring Fling 26. They've done this 26 times, had all the sports in Murfreesboro for one combined state tournament up here, state championship event. And now up next for the Indians is going to be Terry. He is going to continue his at-bat. That's right, he pulled him out halfway through the at-bat there. And he's going to step over and talk to Trevor Ritchie over here in the Indians dugout. He's on deck next for the Indians. Finally got it settled down. Bases loaded, a 1-1 count here. Mallory will start with an even series here for him. Here comes the pitch. He's going to fake a bunt. Terry will, but it's going to be a strike anyway. So now we got a 2-1 count. Mallory throwing some heat a little bit. The damage may already be done here for this Loudon squad, though. Mallory. Step in, going to throw, and popped up. It's going to look like a deep infield there, shallow, and it drops. And it's going to be an infield fly rule now. And so that will be an out because there were 2 or more base runners on and one less than 3 outs there. So that will be an infield fly. So he will be out. It is a strange rule, one of those strange things in baseball, but it is a rule. So now this is the second out. So an infield fly to second base. And now up for the Indians, Trevor Ritchie. Steps in and hits it down under the umpire. The umpire has to jump up for that one. They toss it to second, and that will retire the side for the third out of this one. That's going to be a ground out to shortstop for Trevor Ritchie. They leave the bases loaded. They leave 3 stranded here in the second inning. Now for some updates on some scores that we had. Of course, today, Sequatchie County softball, they win over Alcoa 7-0. Mackenzie Turner, she recorded 18 strikeouts today during that game. So good game for her, 2 shy of the state tournament record there. Gibbs, they beat Marion County 2-0. Marion and Alcoa are both out of the Class A state tournament. Sequatchie County baseball 6-4 over Haywood earlier today, and that's how they got to this game. And, of course, just so you know, Loudon loses to Forest. That's Forest High School in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. 5-1 was the score in that one. Forest got the bats going about midway through that one, and Brody Bingham had 6 strikeouts and 6 innings pitched in that one, so he pitched a full game in that loss. We're getting warmed up here for this bottom of the second inning. It was a long, long, long top of the second. And Zach Lockhart, number 34, the pitcher on the mound for the Indians. Up next for Loudon, that's going to be number 36, Brody Bingham, and he's going to bring them in for this second inning. Lead off this second inning, excuse me. Appreciate it, man. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart. It's going to be just outside of that zone there, and a 1-0 count starting for this at-bat. A pitch in there from Lockhart. And that's going to be another ball, so we got a 2-0 count here on this in this inning. The 2-0 pitch turns into a 3-0 count for Brody Bingham. He's the first baseman for the Redskins, number 36. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart. It's in there. It's going to be outside the zone, and he's going to get 4 straight balls and going to first base. And now Coach E is going to come out to the mound, and we might have a pitching change here. We'll see. I want to say thank you to Regina Johnson, listening all the way from Virginia. She says a big go Indians to this baseball club. And I believe that's Lockhart still in there, so they'll continue to pitch him and tell him that's his first time out of this one. He has one more. Duncan is up to bat after Bingham was walked. Duncan, the pitcher for this Redskins squad. And they're going to throw to first. They're not going to get him at all, and Mitchell's going to grab it and then throw it back to Lockhart on the mound. Duncan in the box. Lockhart looks over at first. Bingham with a little bit of a lead, and he's going to catch him swinging for strike number 1. Strike number 1. Had to catch myself there. I get a little too excited without looking at the board there. Lockhart's going to look down to first. He's a right-handed pitcher, so he's looking at third, so he has to turn around to look at first. And here comes the pitch. It's in there, and it's going to catch him swinging again for strike number 2. We have not had a strikeout yet in this game, so still waiting on that. Could Lockhart, after delivering 4 straight balls, deliver 3 straight strikes and have a strikeout? And it's going to be to deep center field, and it's caught there by the center fielder for Sequatchie County. That is Colin Cooper tonight. He was on the mound last night. So a fly out to center field. That's out number 1 in the inning. So Cade Smith up, 1 on, 1 out for the Redskins. Again, they're in the gray uniforms, white numbers, red stripes on the sleeve, white pants, and the red hats today. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart, and it's going to be outside the zone for a ball. The Indians in their white uniforms, purple socks, white pants, white jersey with a gold stripe across with some purple mixed in, and that signature gold hat with the brim there that's purple. And they're going to get him there because he's going to stand up and go out, and they're going to catch him at second, and he's going to be picked off for the out. And now nobody on, 2 outs, and the Indians are feeling a little more confident now that they picked this one off. Indians doing a good job of the small ball, doing the going to first, throwing down to first, throwing down to second, trying to get those small detail things in there. And the ball's going to go past Potts, and it's going to be a ball. Cade Smith still at the plate, 2-1 count for him. It's going to be a fly ball in the left center field. It's going to get past the left fielder for Sequatchie County. That is Trevor Ritchie. It's going to get just past him out there, and now we're going to have one on there, and that'll go down as a double there. You get one off first. He goes to second. You get him out at second, and now you got another runner on second after the double. 2 outs, 1 on for Loudon. Loudon up toward the Knoxville area. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there. It's going to be low, and it's going to be a ball, but Cade Smith will not try to go to third there. And we got a 1-0 count here on Jasper Cooley. He was the courtesy runner if you were listening last. No, that's not. Excuse me. Had 32 in there, didn't they? Mallory. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so we had Mallory is going to come in for Cooley because he's the pitcher now. Gotcha. Got a strike down there. And it's going to be a 1-1 count here. So this is Mallory up to bat. He's number 32, the pitcher now, after they replaced Duncan. 2 outs, 2-1 count here after that pitch. Lockhart still on the mound. He's going to look back at second. Smith has a pretty good lead. The throw, and it's going to be hit and popped up foul over behind the Sequatchie County stands, where the Sequatchie County fans are, over here to my right. Lockhart, with a 2-2 count he's working on. He's going to look back at second. Now he's going to throw the pitch. It's going to be hit straight to the shortstop, and it's not a out on the ground, but it's going to get past Austin Mitchell, and Loudon's going to score on this when Smith, on an error, is going to get home. It is going to be a base hit there for Mallory. So on the single, Loudon scores. Cade Smith comes around third and goes home. And now we got a courtesy runner for Mallory. And that is number, who we got for the courtesy runner over here? 24. Evan Scott there for the courtesy runner. He's got a little bit of a lead out there on first. Lockhart's going to look as much as he can, check down the sign. It's going to be in there for a strike. It's going to be Lunsford there with the first strike, number 2. For the Redskins, they're going to throw down to first. The ball's going to get away from Mitchell, but it's going to land in front of him, so they're not going to get the out, but no damage done there. As Mitchell getting a little bit antsy out there at first, missing the pitch, missing 2 catches already. Still an 0-1 count here, even with all the commotion. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be popped up. It's going to go to middle of the field. Mitchell's going to come over and grab it for the third out of the inning. And it's going to be a fly out to first. Mitchell caught it, but he ran out almost behind the pitcher's mound to come get that one there. So calling that one, and that will be a fly out there for 3 outs now. And we will go to the top of the third where the Indians will take over. Still 3-1 now after the Loudon score there. So we got a 3-1 lead, Sequatchie County, as we go to the top of the third. We'll look for some scores for everybody. And we're going to have Mallory back on the mound for the Redskins. He took over last inning for Duncan in the middle of an at-bat. So let's tell you what happened here. First round, Forest, they win 12-8 over Haywood. Loudon wins 4-0 in the 12th there. So we had a run rule game in the 5th, and then we went to the 12th inning to make up for it in the next game. Haywood today lost to Sequatchie County 6-4. Forest gets the 5-1 win over Loudon in the winner's bracket there, and Loudon's playing Sequatchie County now, and we're waiting, and Forest awaits the winner of this one tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And that is going to be a ball there for going to Austin Mitchell. Mallory on the mound, Mitchell in the box, 1-0 count. The next one coming, it's going to be fouled off, and that's going to bring us to a 1-1 count. Austin Mitchell, son of Dusty Mitchell, over there in helping Darren Easterly as the coach over there in the dugout. I believe he's actually on first base over here. Here comes Mallory. He's going to throw down. It's going to be hit by Mitchell into left field and caught by the left fielder. And that would have been Jasper Cooley, I believe, out there. No? Yes, out there at left field. And Griffin Hall coming up to bat, the third baseman for the Indians. And he's going to be a sophomore. Duncan's in left field, excuse me, sorry. So they made a straight trade in there. Duncan for Mallory out in left field there. Thank you, I appreciate that. What will we do without our beloved statisticians up here in the booth? And here comes the pitch. It's going to be hit into left field. It's going to be foul ball there. Got lost in the net over here, so it is going to be a foul ball. So we got a 1-1 count, 1 out, and a 3-1 lead for Sequatchie County as number 25, Griffin Hall, has a 1-1 count on him. I want to thank y'all for listening, and we can give you some shout-outs if you go. You can text me or you can go on the Spreaker app, and you can leave comments there. And that's going to be a low ball. It's going to come out of the catcher's glove, so they're going to call that one outside. Like I said, if you comment on Facebook, that's great, but I can't see it until after the game because of my connection here. So if you go and comment on the Spreaker app, and we'll let them know, these Indians know how much you loving to watch them, loving to listen to them here. And so that's going to be another ball. It's going to be low there. Got a 3-1 count here for Hall. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there low, and he's going to get to first on a walk. And number 21, Tyler Lynn, coming up to base. Griffin Hall, he has 7 stolen bases in this season, 14 RBIs, a .450 on-base percentage. And now coming up for Sequatchie County, that is Tyler Lynn. He's going to show a bunt. He's going to pull back, but that's going to be a strike anyway. So strike 1 there, and 1 out and 1 on for Sequatchie County. That 1 on is Griffin Hall. He's going to be over here on first base. He's going to get a little bit of a lead, not much. Mallory looking over at him. Now he's going to throw back to him. Not much of a lead. I don't know that I would have done that, but to each his own. Mallory gets the ball back. He's going to step back onto the hill. Lynn's going to look down at his wrist, look for the sign. He's going to step back into the box. Here comes the pitch from Mallory. He's going to get him swinging. And they're going to get him out at second. That is Hall. They're going to get him on the tag, and that's going to be picked off for out number 2. Lynn still up to bat with 2 outs. That's going to be a ball. Hopefully that fixed the problem a little bit there. Let me know if it's fixed or it's still going in and out. That way I can try to fix it. I've done what I can. It's going to be hit down the third base line to Griffin Hall. He's going to get it over there to Mitchell. This time it's an out, a ground out to third base. The Indians taking no time getting 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. I'm just sitting here in the press box, and sweat is drenching down my face, so I can't imagine that these players are feeling any better out there. Up to bat next is Hickman. It's going to be in there, going to be low. No, he's not going to get the strike, so that's going to be a 1-0 count here. It is fixed. We got a little bit better connection there, so I appreciate you, Monica, helping us out and helping out this Indian fan base. That's going to be high in the zone there, and another ball there by Zach Lockhart, and we got a 2-0 count to Nathan Hickman. The pitcher that was in last night, he's now the second baseman for Loudon in this game today. Here comes the pitch. In there, and that's going to be ball number 3. And for Lockhart really need to get it in the zone here. Going to be inside, 4 straight balls there, and he's going to get to first on a walk. So 1 on after 2 outs for the Indians. 2 up, 2 down now. They got 1 on first. That is Nathan Hickman. You heard that name a lot last night. He was on the hill last night for started on the mound. He was in there for 6 innings before that game went to 12. Here comes the pitch, and that's a strike in there for Lockhart. It's funny, when you say you've pitched 6 innings, usually that means you pitched just about the entire game, but last night that only accounted for half the game. Lockhart going to look down, look for the pitch. He's going to get in there, and it's going to be I believe that was that foul. Did he hit the bat? No, it just checked up, didn't he? Okay. Well, that's going to be a strike there, it says. Down there going to check down, but that's going to be a stolen base there for Hickman. So a 1-1 count here. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart after he looks at second. In there, and a strike 3 called, and that's going to retire the side there. That's the first strikeout, I believe, of the game for either of these squads. And it goes to Lockhart. And that's going to take us to the end of the third inning. And Sequatchie County back up to bat here in Smyrna, Tennessee, here at Smyrna High School, home of the Bulldogs. Purple and gold making the Indians feel at home over here as we continue this game. Next 3 up for the Indians. This will be Caden Swanner, Logan Potts, and back up to the top of the lineup for Colin Cooper as we have the 8-9-1 lineup there for the leadoff. That is going to be Mallory still on the mound for the Redskins. Done a pretty decent job holding the Indians to using data. And that's a pitch in there for the strike, and that's to number 15, Caden Swanner there, and he's got an 0-1 count from Mallory. Hope y'all can hear us. Please chime in. I'll be happy to give you a shout-out if you're listening in. That's going to be another strike there against Swanner, and he's got an 0-2 count looking at that right now with nobody on, 0 outs at the bottom of this fourth inning, or top of the fourth inning, excuse me. And that's down low, and that's going to be the first ball of this at bat. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there, and it's going to be low inside there. And now we got a 2-2 count here for Caden Swanner. Potts up after him. He's on deck, and Colin Cooper at the top of the lineup will be the third batter of this inning. Here comes the pitch, and it's going to be high in there. And now we got a full count for Caden Swanner, the designated hitter for the Indians, number 15. He is a senior on this Indian squad. Full up. The umpire signals it. Mallory with the pitch. It's going to go inside, and Swanner is going to get to first on a walk. Logan Potts coming up to bat. He is the catcher. He is, make sure I got this right. Yes, he is a sophomore. I thought he was close to that, either a sophomore or a freshman, younger player on this team. Number 17, the sophomore. And he's been holding down that home plate pretty well. He was behind home plate the entire time last night during all those 12 innings. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be low, and it's going to be a ball. 1-0 count here. No outs. 1 on for the Indians. That is Caden Swanner. He got there on a walk, and he's just standing on first. Now he's going to get a lead out there. Not too big a one. About a 2.5-step lead out there. Mallory's going to look him down. And now he's going to stay there, and he's going to throw down, and nowhere close to throwing that one down. As Caden Swanner steps back on first. Beautiful, beautiful setting for baseball. I can start to see the sun coming in to the window over here. And no rain in sight this week. Just a wonderful week for some baseball and softball, and that's going to be strike number 1 of this at-bat, and strike number 1 for Logan Potts. 1 on, no outs for the Indians. 1-1 count for Logan Potts. Caden Swanner on first. Here comes they're going to throw down. No, they're going to throw down to first. No, it's going to be safe. He's not going to get him. In this at bat, we've thrown down to first twice and thrown 2 pitches. So we're about even in that count. Here comes the pitch from Mallory. It's going to be inside there, and now we got an uneven count here at 2-1. Again, no outs here in this top of the 4th. The Indians trying here about the midway point of this game, trying to get some more runs, pad that lead, and try to win this ball game and survive until tomorrow at 2 o'clock if they can win this one. Here comes the pitch, and they're going to catch him swinging, but that's only strike number 2, so now we got a 2-2 count. Potts hoping to get a hit here and send Swanner to second or farther. Swanner on first. He's got about a 2.5-step lead. They throw down to him 3 times, and now that pitch and throw down count is back at 3-3. A 3-1 lead for Sequatchie County. 1 run in the first, 2 in the second. Here comes the pitch. It's going to swing and a miss there for Potts, and that'll be a strikeout. The first for Mallory, the second of this game between all the pitchers on both sides. So we got 1 out, 1 on for the Indians. That one is Caden Swanner. He's over at first. He got walked there. Colin Cooper, the top of the lineup, coming back up for the Indians. He is a senior, and he is playing center field today. When he's not playing center field, he pitches on the outside, and that's going to be low there for a 1-0 count. Swanner still on first, stepping on first. He had a little bit of a lead there. All right, now we got about a 3-step lead for Swanner, maybe a little bit less out there at first. And Mallory's going to look down. He's going to be hit down to shallow right field, and this may be a double as it rolls to the wall. And here comes Swanner. Is he going to go for third? Yes, he is. He's going to go home, and Cooper is going to get a triple out of it. Another run added for this Indian squad, and we got a 4-1 lead for Sequatchie County after that triple by Colin Cooper at the top of the lineup. Colin Hudson up to bat, 1 on and 1 out for the Indians. That 1 on is Colin Cooper after the triple. He sits on third base. He's going to take about a step and a half lead off third, not too much. Doesn't want to chance anything since he's got a right-handed pitcher looking straight at him. And Mallory does look over to third. Now he's going to pitch. It's going to be high and out of the zone, so that's going to be a ball there for Colin Hudson. Colin Hudson, of course, the youngest of the Hudson brothers. Dakota Hudson, the second oldest. He pitches for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he's one of the starting pitchers now this year. It's going to be high in the zone and going to be another ball, 2-0. And here comes the pitch. It's going to be foul down the third base line for Hudson. And he's had trouble with those foul balls here in this game, as the last 2 times he's been up, he's 0 for 2 today. He grounded out to first in the first, and he walked to first in the second. Here comes the pitch. It's in there, and they're not going to call it a strike. Look a little bit low there. So now we got a 3-1 count here with 1 out here in the top of the fourth. 1 run here in the fourth. I was looking at the 1 under the 4 on the scoreboard. And it's going to be hit and fouled off to the right over here across the Indian stands, and now we got a full count here to make things interesting. Hudson always liking to do that. Hudson, the senior for the Indians. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be hit and fouled off. I think it hit him, so it's going to be a dead ball at that point anyways. So it hits off the bat and then hits him on – it looked like it hit him on the leg there, so now he's still got a dead ball. Umpire's walking up to the pitcher up there to give him another ball, and they'll get reset here behind home plate. Coach E down on third. Looks like Coach Mitchell down at first, and 1 on, that is Colin Cooper down at third. Got about a step and a half lead as the pitch comes, and Hudson hits it into shallow center right field, and he's going to try for a no. He's going to step back and keep the single, but that will score Cooper at home, and he gets home. He gets home on a single there, an RBI single from Hudson. So Hudson gets the RBI there as he gets the single. Now up to bat, Bodie Terry for the Indians. Coming in, it's going to be a strike. They're going to throw down to second. They won't have him. He's going to be safe. So Hudson gets the stolen base there over at second, and now Bodie Terry with an 0-1 count after that pitch. 5-1 lead Sequatchie County has over Loudon. A totally different game than what we saw last night. There wasn't any runs in that one, and now we've got 6 on the board in less than 4 innings. Here comes the hit. It's going to go down to the third baseman for Loudon. They're going to get to first, and he'll get the out there at first for the second out of this inning. That's a ground out to third base. That was to, I believe, Gibson at third. So that brings up, that is 2 there. Sorry, not 3. I was writing them on there. Trevor Ritchie comes up. Number 12, the left fielder, for the Indians. He pops it straight up, and the pitcher's going to take a step over to the right off the mound, and he's going to grab it for the third out of this inning. That's going to be a fly out to the pitcher. And so 3 up, and so now after some damage is done, 2 runs come in for the Indians. And 3 outs there, 1 strikeout recorded there by Mallory. And Easterly watching the pitch as Lockhart's warming up. I would say there's a pretty big smile on his face as looks like if this rate continues, they're going to survive till tomorrow, and that is a good thing for the Sequatchie County program. Lockhart warming up here. With a 5-1 lead, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be right back here at the midway point in this baseball game. Welcome back into TSSN Radio. Loudon on the bottom of this inning will bat. And up to bat is Brody Bingham. An outside pitch is a 1-0, and now the next pitch is coming, and that's going to be another ball there. So we got a 2-0 count on Bingham. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be hit down to the first baseman, Mitchell. He gets it on the ground and races to first and beats out Bingham for the ground out there at first. Yeah, and that's good to see. Austin Mitchell had some miscues early in this game. Not sure if it was miscues on his end or the ones throwing it, but he did have some miscues in this game. And it's good to see him step in, and he's had some pretty good plays here in the past 2 innings to be able to salvage that. And now up to bat is Duncan. Jackson Duncan. And that's going to be a strike there for him. We got 1 out. That is 1 strike and nobody on for Loudon here in the bottom of the 4th. I pitch another one, and it's a strike there from Lockhart. Lockhart doing great. He pitched a full game, and it was a no-hitter in that opening region game. I think maybe it was the district championship, District championship, he pitched a no-hitter against Grundy County and did a fantastic job there. As now we have a 1-2 count with that ball. Now, here comes the pitch in there, and it's going to be low. He's not going to call it a strike, so now we got another ball. Duncan going to recompose himself in the batter's box. Lockhart has no one to look at. He's facing the home plate. Now he's going to put his foot to the rubber and going to send it in, and it's going to be an out there with a 3rd strike. And that's going to give another strikeout to Lockhart. That's his 2nd of the game. And Lockhart on the mound for the Indians. Here comes the pitch. And it's going to be fouled off by number 41, Cade Smith, and that's going to be an 0-1 count now. Talked to Coach Darren Easterly last night. It just seemed that he was a little bit more confident, and more confident than a coach should be after that loss last night, seeing all that pitching depleted by Loudon. And here comes the hit. It's going to be down the third base line. And it's going to get past him and go out to left field where Trevor Ritchie is, I believe. Yes, he's out there, and it's going to get to him, but that is going to be a base hit there for Smith. Jacob Mallory coming up. He is the pitcher for Loudon right now. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart after he looks at first, and it's going to be hit to center field, shallow center field, just a low trajectory right there. I'm going to go over second base, and that's going to get Smith to second, and that's going to send Mallory over to first after the single. So 2 outs for this Loudon squad, and they've got 2 straight hits on 2 straight batters here. As number 2, Lunsford, that's Mackenzie Lunsford, the center fielder, comes up to bat. And they're going to pinch run here, and it's going to be 24 for Evan Scott is going to be the pinch runner for him. That's for Mallory over on first. And Lunsford in the box waiting on the pitch. Here he comes, and it's going to be a strike right down the pipe there for Lockhart. Lockhart very underrated, 3-0 this season, a 2.62 ERA with 34 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, and he's got 2 today, so make that 32. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be high in the zone, and that's going to be a ball. And Lockhart, he's going to take a step back and fake the throw to second where Smith is. Smith had a little bit of a wide lead. Now it's not as wide. Here comes the hit, and it's going to go to the pitcher, and he's going to mishandle it. So that's going to be a dead ball, actually, because Lunsford it's going to go off his foot, and it's going to be a dead ball there. So that's going to be call that a ball, or it'll be a strike, dead ball strike. Okay, dead ball strike there for Lunsford. So now we got a 1-2 count here with 2 outs. Lockhart looking for his 3rd strikeout of the night. Can he get it? With 2 on, 2 outs, 2 strikes, can he make it a 3rd? Lockhart up top, down, and it's going to be low. Potts has to jump up to get the hop there, and it's going to be a 2-2 count now. Lockhart working on Lunsford. Lockhart looks over at first. Scott is. And it's hit down the third base line. It's fair, and this is going to score a run for Loudon. No, he's going to call it a foul ball. That was really close. That looked really close. I couldn't see it from my vantage point, but I thought it was really close to being a foul ball, and he does finally call it a foul ball. So that's another strike. And that's good for the Indians because no one scores, and that could have been an easy score there for number 41, Smith, that's out there on second. 2 on for Loudon. That's Kate Smith and Scott. Evan Scott, right? No, over here on first. Ethan or Evan? Was it Ethan or Evan Scott? Here comes the pitch, and it's going to be a swing and a miss, and that's strike number 3. And anyways, they leave 2 stranded there in the 4th. And so that's a strikeout. That's Lockhart's 3rd strikeout of the night after that foul ball that could have turned in some scores for Loudon. And you got to think Loudon is going to be looking at that play and that call right there as one that could potentially decide the outcome of this one. And it's going to be Mallory on the mound. He's going to be warming up here. A reminder how we got here today. Well, Sequatchie County, they won. They are District 7 champions. They won over Grundy County in that one. Played Cannon County in the first round of regions. Played Grundy County again in the region championship, 3-0. And then in the sectionals, they beat Signal Mountain at home, 5-1. Now, since they got up here to the state tournament, they lost 4-0 to Loudon yesterday in the 12th, and they're quickly recovering from that one today. But they beat Haywood 6-4 after being down 3-1 early in that one. They're in the loser bracket right here, and the winner of this one takes on Forest as they take on Loudon here today. And by the way, Forest and Loudon today, that game was a 5-1 bout, 2 as Forest won that one. And they strand a couple there on that one as we come up to Austin Mitchell here for the Indians. Mitchell, he flew out to right field in the first and flew out to left field in the third. The third out in the first. He was the first out in the third. Now he's up again, and he's going to look to make some. And first pitch, he hits it out to shallow center right field, and it's caught by the center fielder for the Redskins. That is going to be Lunsford. So the first pitch he swings at, and it's going to be a ground out to center field. That's going to be one out for the Indians here as Griffin Hall, number 25, the third baseman, comes up to bat. Hall scored the last time. He got to first on a single in the second inning. In the third, he got walked to second and ended up being picked off walked to first and then ended up getting picked off at second. And now 2 balls have gone by here for Griffin Hall. Ball is hit, fouled off over to my right, behind me, behind the press box. And they replenish the ball to the umpire. 2-1 count here. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Great service here in Smyrna. I've got a Coke last night and the water tonight. They just keep handing me food and water. I blame for them for not getting my weight loss plan in check. Anyways, Griffin Hall still in there. 2-2 count, 1 out here. Nobody on for Sequatchie County. It's hit. It's going to be a popped out and it's going to look like a fly out to center field. And he had to go shade left a little bit for that one. And that's going to be the second out of this inning. Tyler Lynn, the right fielder, number 21 for the Indians. He is a sophomore for this purple and gold squad. And the pitch is hit up, and it's hopped to the pitcher, and that's going to retire the side there. 3 up, 3 down for this squad. That's going to be a ground out to the pitcher. Quick inning there for Sequatchie County. Now they're going to go and try to defend Loudon in the bottom of this 5th inning. And what a great tournament we have here, the Class AA tournament, TSSAA State Championships, the 26th Spring Fling here in Murfreesboro. And just a great game to watch here today. It was a great game last night if it would have ever ended. It took 12 innings to finish that thing out. And that was a 4-0 loss by Sequatchie County. Now they're up against the ropes, and this might be their second straight win today. And tomorrow, if they win this game today, they play tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And looks like we'll be able to cover that one and how softball is playing tomorrow. They play at 10. We'll be able to come over here and grab this game at 2 if they get the win here. Be sure to get on the Spreaker app and the Spreaker link and be able to show your support for the Indians, and we'll give you a shout-out as well. Next up for Loudon, and they're going to be at the top of the order. That's Myers. He's the designated hitter, number 34. That's going to be a pitch up there way out of the zone, and that's going to be a ball there. We are in the bottom of the 5th here. The Indians were 3 up, 3 down in that last top of the inning there, and now it's going to be a strike there against Myers. So now we got a 1-1 count working on this. Here comes the pitch. High in the zone. No guacamole here with a 2-1 count now we're working on. That's how I like to order my fajitas at the Mexican restaurant. No guac, no rice. Call me crazy. But now we got a ball that's going to go into shallow right field, center right field, and they're going to throw it into second. It's not going to get there in time after they missed the cutoff man. And so that's a double there from Myers, and he gets on second safely after they throw out there to right field. That went out there to the right fielder for the Indians. That was Tyler Lynn out there. Just kind of got past him. I mean, there wasn't really anything he could do. It just wasn't anywhere near his realm of where he was out there. Outfielder's not really shading, maybe a hair to the left, a little bit bigger gap on the right side than the left side. Dawkins has and he is down the third baseline. It goes between the legs of the third baseman, Griffin Hall, and they're going to keep Myers on second there, and that's going to be a base hit for Dawkins. A runner on first and second for Loudon. 0 outs here. They could do some damage here in the bottom of the fifth if the Indians don't watch out. Nathan Hickman up to bat. He's the third in the lineup. 1 on first, that's Dawkins, and 1 on second, that is Myers. Hickman, the second baseman, he was the pitcher last night for the Loudon Redskins and threw a perfect game until they pulled him out after 6 innings. Here comes the pitch. In there, and a strike there on the breaking ball. That is a strike, second baseman, for the second baseman, Hickman. Lockhart looking back at second, thinking about throwing back, and he'll take a step off and get the runner back over there. That is Myers. And you got to wonder, with 2 straight hits out here, if you get another one on, do you change the pitcher? And it's going to be fouled off there by Hickman, and it's going to be an 0-2 count. Looking fresh here with 2 strikes now. Let's get 3 up, 3 down, Miss Jackson says. Here comes the pitch from Lockhart. Lockhart throws down. It's hit. It's going to be popped up to right center field and closer to right field. And it's called out there by Tyler Lynn. He's going to throw in, hit his cutoff man. But runners will advance. Well, we got runners on the corner now. So Myers advances to third on the fly out. And Dawkins stays at first. The first out here for Loudon here is the Indians got one away after that catch to fly out to right field that Tyler Lynn caught. Now Andrew Gibson up to bat. He is the third baseman for the Redskins. Last 2 times up, he grounded out to third in the first, and in the third, he struck out via the arm, Zach Lockhart out there on the mound. Here comes the pitch. It's in there, and it's going to be low. No strike there. A 1-0 count. We got runners on the corner. Dawkins on first. Austin Myers, he's the designated hitter. He's on third. He got there on that flyout. He was on second. He tagged up and got there. Lockhart likes the pitch, and it's going to be hit, and it's going to be into right field, and it's going to touch the ground. They're going to hit the cutoff man. It's going to go to second. And Myers is going to score on that one, so now we have a 5-2 ball game. And now Dawkins is going to go to third on that one and Gibson gets the single there. Brody Bingham, the first baseman for the Redskins, number 36. He is a senior for this squad. He got picked off in the second inning, and he hits it out to the left field. And the ball was out there. Did he catch it? Well, I'm not sure what happened. It looked like he caught it. He rolled over it. So I guess there's a little bit of controversy on whether he actually caught it or not. And did they throw down for the tag? No, they did not. So did they call that out initially? They did call that out initially, so they would have to reverse it, which is good for the Indians because it's hard to reverse an out safe call like that. Really, when you're an umpire, I do some umpiring on the side for Little League Baseball. It's kind of hard to even go against that unless your other umpire saw something, and he's talking to the umpire that was closest to that play. That is the home umpire's call, I believe, being that it is a catch out. So the umpires will go and have a conference here around the pitcher's mound. The third base umpire, the first base umpire, the home plate umpire all coming together to discuss this one. And we'll take a moment of action away from this exciting game here in the losers bracket of the TSSAA Class State Baseball Tournament. And he is going to rule him out, so that will be out number 2 for Indians. And that was – so that's a fly out to left field. That's a second out. And the batter over here, did the runner over here at third, did he tag up? He did tag up, so that will be a what? It will be a score. So we do have a 5-3 score now here in this one. That was Dawkins that scored from third, and now there's only one on. That's Andrew Gibson. He's at first. That was in shallow center field. He kind of caught it, rolled over. They had an appeal. They had a conference. They said, no, that is an out. We called it out initially, and Potts is going to lose the handle out of it as it goes outside. And now we have a 1-1 count with a strike and a ball. And that is Duncan up to bat, Jackson Duncan. He started off pitching this game. And now he's out in left field. Did a trade for a trade with our pitcher now. And there's going to be a wild pitch there outside, and Gibson is going to get to second on the pass ball. You got to get out of the city. You got a runner on second. You cannot let this get tied here because your bats have been a little bit quiet here in these innings. Of course, you get back up to the top of your lineup, you're back in business. And here's the ball. It's going to be outside, up high. And so now we got 3 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs, 1 on. He's on second. His name, Andrew Gibson. Duncan is in the batter's box. Lockhart looks back at second, thinks about it. He's going to pitch anyway. It's going to be hit right over to second into center field. Going to be a low trajectory from center field. He's going to throw and go back over to Mitchell, who's standing behind the pitcher's mound. And no damage done there as Gibson goes on the single. He ends up going to third on that and no farther. Great play there by the center fielder to get down there and Mitchell to cut him off and keep that from happening. Now Coach E's going to come out to the mound and talk with his pitcher. Maybe time for a pitching change? I don't know. So the score right now is 5-3 here in the bottom of the 5th for y'all wondering. Kyle Floyd, we thank you for tuning in. Go Indians. He's tuning in. He's a Whitwell guy cheering for the Indians. So y'all find him and give him a big shout-out for these Indians. If you're out there and you're an Indian fan listening to the sound of my voice right now, go ahead and check in on our Spreaker app and tell us what you think about these Indians. After the conference, you're going to have 1 on first, 1 on third, so we got 2 on the corners, and that is going to bring up Cade Smith. Yes, Cade Smith. He's a shortstop for the Redskins. Lockhart throws in. It's going to be ball 1. That's low in the zone. Last time up, he hit a double, got to third on an error, and got back home on an error, there, in the second inning. Last time up, he got stranded on second after he hit a single. Here's the pitch. It's going to go foul down the third base line. So strike 1 for him. We got a 1-1 count. Thank you for checking in, Eddie. Appreciate you tuning in and helping everybody on the Spreaker app and letting them know what the score is. And Lockhart from the mound, a 1-1 pitch is coming, and that turns into a 1-2 pitch after the foul ball. A little bit warm in the press box. I imagine it's much hotter outside, so I'm not complaining. Lockhart's going to look down. He's got a 1-2 count he's working on with Smith. And 2 outs. Can he deliver the pitch and get a strike in here? Did he go? Yes, he did. And they're going to get the strike, and that's the 4th strikeout for Lockhart. Excuse me. I thought that looked, and that's going to be one of those controversial calls that the Loudon fans are probably going to look at and say, I don't know if it went or not, but it looked earlier like there was one that went a little bit farther than that and across the plate, and I guess his wrist broke, so that's why they called it. This one didn't look like it went near as far, and it must have just been a strike anyway because I don't know that he actually went there. But Jacob Mallory is going to come back out on the mound for the Redskins and see what he can do. Lockhart with 3 strikeouts. Oh, sorry, 4 strikeouts. I can't see one because I marked a 3 through it. 4 strikeouts on the night. He's doing a good job as the starter here. Warming up is Jacob Mallory. He only has 1 strikeout on the night, but he has had the defense to back him up here of late. After that after that 4th inning there, he's had a pretty good the 3rd and 4th inning there, but I think we're going back toward the top of the lineup. But we got Caden Swanner and Logan Potts before we get back up to Cooper. Easterly watching the throw down. He's going to go over to third to be the third base coach. Coach Mitchell going to stand over at third, I believe. He's over in the on-deck circle. Up to bat, Caden Swanner. He is the designated hitter. And Mallory on the mound. Nobody on, no outs. We're starting the inning. Or starting the top of the 6th inning. And that pitch is going to be a strike there on the outside spot out there. We are in the 6th inning. If you are Sequatchie County, you need to try to pad that lead a little bit more because you've only got a 2-run lead, and that's going to be a foul ball, and it's an 0-2 count to Swanner. And we're live here from TSSN Radio. I'm Chandler Morrison. We're in Smyrna High School here. This is one of the sites for the Class A championship series here in this tournament, and that's going to be outside, and they're going to call it a ball for the first ball for Caden Swanner. And a great side here. It makes the Indians feel at home when you got that purple and gold on your side. And not even throwing, they've only thrown Colin Hudson, their ace. That's going to be a strike there, by the way, and he's going to strike out. And that's going to be the 2nd strike there for Mallory. Interesting move here, and I think that he knew he could do it. Coach E was really, really confident in this. Colin Hudson, he's your main pitcher, really. Not your main pitcher, but he's your go-to pitcher here because he's got the best record of the team. I believe he only pitched 2 innings in this one, and the pitch goes in there for a strike, and that's the 4th strike of this inning. So, looking at Hudson, he's got a 10-0 record, not lost as a pitcher this year, and the pitch goes in there. It's another strike for Jacob Mallory. He's not really played, and you think you want to bring him out maybe tomorrow in that Forest game. Maybe you want to try to put him in there, see if you can do anything, get a lead, and pull him out and put in another pitcher. It's going to be hit foul down the third base line for Logan Potts, number 17. He's the catcher. And then after him on deck, we have Colin Cooper over here, and he's the top of the lineup. So if you can get something going here with Potts, you might be able to string some runs together, string some plays together, and get Cooper, Hudson, and Terry involved in some action here. Potts, he flew out to center field in the 2nd, and he was struck out in the 4th. And it's going to be a ball there, a 1-2 count we have now. One-two count, 1 out, nobody on for the Indians. It's going to be hit down the third base line, and it's going to go bounce foul, and we still got a 1-2 count here. All right, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll get to the shout-outs after the end of this inning here, our half inning, as the Indians are at the top half of the inning. Here's the pitch from Mallory. He looks over and he looks for the side. It's going to be hit to left field. It's going to go back toward the wall, and it's going to come off the glove of the left fielder for the Redskins. That is Duncan out there, I believe. And that's going to be a double there for Potts. I believe that's his first hit of the tournament, possibly. We're going to call it an error there, and it's going to be an error out to left field. And Potts is going to get the second on an error there. Mallory on the mound. Up to bat, Colin Cooper, the leadoff batter here in the 6th inning. Mallory's going to look back at second, a wide lead there by Potts. Potts with 2 stolen bases this year, so not a lot of production out there on the bases from him. Only a 365 on base percentage and a 255 batting average. The ball's going to go to the leg to the second baseman out to center field, and it's going to be a double there for Cooper as Potts comes in home. Okay, so that's going to be an error on the center fielder since it did go through his legs. So another error by this Loudon squad is allowed for another Indian score. That's 2 doubles on errors, two straight batters. 1 out, and Colin Hudson up. He's the shortstop, number 3, and he is a senior on this squad. As we continue to say, he is Dakota Hudson's younger brother. Dakota Hudson, the starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. He got called up last year. And that's going to be a swing and a miss there, and that's going to be an 0-1 count we're working on for Mallory's going to be working on. Hudson usually bats .398. That was coming into the tournament. 19 RBIs, 26 stolen bases. He's going to bunt. It's going to be a show bunt late, but he is going to be out at first, but that's going to send Cooper over to third on the sac bunt. And so he'll out number 2 of the inning, of the half inning. So that's going to be So that's going to be 2 outs and then a strike there on Bodie Terry, who is up now. Ooh, wrong one. Who is up now. But that's going to leave Cooper on third. He's getting about a 2-step lead out there, a little bit more maybe. Mallory looks over at him, gives him the look. He's a right-handed pitcher. It's going to be hit by Terry. Terry into center field. It's going to be caught, and that's going to be the third out, a fly out to left field. And just like that, the Indians score another run at 6-3 is your score as we end this inning here in Smyrna, Tennessee for this TWSAA Class AA State Championship Tournament. For the Redskins, next up is going to be Mallory, Lunsford, and then back up to the top of the lineup to Myers. As they got something going last time Myers was there, that's going to be the key player here. Can you stop him when he gets up there on 2 outs and possibly have 2 outs when he comes up to kind of bring that down a little bit? That's the big question here. You know, there was some talk that maybe pull Zach Lockhart out, but he's looking good and he's doing great. And after you got those on base, he did come back and got a fly. We got 2 flyouts or 2 strikeouts in that inning. So here comes Jacob Mallory. He's the pitcher now. He took over for Duncan earlier in this game, pretty early in this game when Duncan was having some trouble. A 6-3 lead the Indians have here in Smyrna, Tennessee for this Class AA tournament losers bracket game. Lockhart on the mound. Is he a little bit tired? I would assume so, but he still throws anyway. In there, and it's going to be low, a ball for him. Last time up, Mallory hit a single to first base, and in the same slot, Jasper Cooley hit a single in the second. That's going to be a 2-0 count now after the ball outside. Here comes the third pitch, and it's going to be just outside coming across, and that's going to be a 3-0 count now in favor of Mallory. Mallory used to be on the other side of that mound, but now he's going to try to hit it. Here it comes. It's going to hit him, and that's something that's not been done tonight. He was hit by pitch. Over to first base. Lunsford is up next. We got time on there, and they are going to pull Lockhart out after the hit by pitch there, and they're going to bring in 11 for the Indians. Number 11, that is going to be Blake Henry there. That is number 11, right? I might be. Okay. It's number 11. That is Blake Henry. Here's a little look at his stats. He's a righty, sophomore, number 11. He's 0-1 this season, only 9.2 innings pitched, so 9 2/3 an inning pitched. 21 strikeouts in those 9 innings, and only 7 walks. So not a bad resume on the mound, number 11. Number 11, that is Blake Henry. Blake Henry. He is a sophomore. Like I said, he has an 0-1 record, so that's why maybe he's unknown. Only pitched 9 innings, so probably 1 or 2 games maybe. It's hot. It's been a long day. They played 2 games today. The outfielders out there, 2 of them are sitting down. One of them's kind of bent over. I would say they're just they're having a good time, sitting over there talking and having a good time at a state tournament. You can always have a good time at the state tournament when you're up, when you're leading. So that's what they're doing right now with the 6-3 lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Loudon is the home team, so they will get the last bat when we go to the 7th. And we got 2 more pitches the umpire is signaling, so they're going to give you 2 more warm-up pitches. Henry with the pitch, and it's going to be in there. He's throwing some pretty good pitches here in his warm-ups. Let's see how he does when he gets a batter in the box. Here's the last pitch, and then we'll bring up a batter here in Smyrna. I am pronouncing that right, Smyrna? Okay, good. I'm not from around here, so I would hate to mispronounce your name. I would hope they would have stopped me from saying it earlier if I was saying it wrong, so I'm glad. And so Blake Henry is up here after the hit by pitch. Now Lunsford, number 2. He's the center fielder for the Indians. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there and a strike there for Henry as he starts off with a good note in this pitching outlook. Kevin Holland, I know you're asking about the girls. The girls, they won 7-0 against Alcoa today. They play tomorrow at 10 a.m., and the ball is hit to right center field. It's going to drop and out of reach of the center fielder for Sequatchie County. They're going to get a triple out of it, and rounding the base is number 24 for Loudon. And that was, what was the last name, Scott? 24? Did they get a pitch hitter there? I believe they did. So Scott gets home for Mallory. Yeah, and then Lunsford gets the triple there. Now we got a 6-4 game on our hands here in the 6th. Henry, they're trying to preserve this pitching for tomorrow, and they're trying to get out of this one. That was outside. And Austin Myers up, the one batter you probably don't want to go up against. He seems to start the chain of events that leads to scores for Loudon. Lunsford over here on third. He's got about a 3-step lead, standing in the grass. He's going to step down. Potts has got it, and it's going to be a strike. 1-1 count now, no outs. The Indians have got to try and get some outs here in the 6th inning and get out of this inning. Blake Henry took over for Zach Lockhart on the mound. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a foul ball there, so now we've got a 1-2 count. Blake Henry, he is a sophomore, a right-handed sophomore, 0-1 on the season, and surprisingly only 9 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts, but baseball, it's that next man up, and stranger things have happened when you had to put someone like Blake Henry up there on the mound in this state tournament. We saw a little bit against Loudon yesterday. They tried not to put Colin Hudson out there. They really want to save Colin Hudson for a later game when they need him. Here comes the pitch. It's in there, and it's going to be low. Ball number 2, 2-2 count. Right here, if you could get a strikeout right here, that would be great because you've got Austin Myers, and he seems, like I said, to start the chain of events that lead to a score. At least he did last inning when he was up. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be fouled off over here to the right, and still a 2-2 count that we're working on. Myers in the first inning grounded out to shortstop. In the third inning, grounded out the same way to shortstop. And in the fifth inning, he hit a double, and with a fly out, he tagged up and went to second, went to third, and ended up at home. The pitch from Henry is going to be fouled off again by Myers, and still a 2-2 count here. In the two games leading up to this one, he has an average of 250 behind the in the batter's box, been walked once, been struck out once, and has one run leading into this game. Now he has two for the tournament. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there. It's going to be high, and now we've got a full count running. If you're Henry, you've got to be looking to get maybe a breaking ball in there, get on the edge of this zone right here, and try to trip him up. You really want to get this strike because you don't want Myers on base. He has spelled trouble for the Indians thus far. So we'll be here again at 10 tomorrow, and if the Indians win tonight here against Loudon, we'll see you at 2 tomorrow for the boys' game right there. 10-2, that's where your hand should be on the wheel, and that's what the Indians will be tomorrow. And he's going to get walked there and go down to first base. Myers is on first. Lunsford on third. Runners on the corners for the Redskins. You got two runners on base, no outs, and Blake Henry, not a bad pitcher, just inexperienced. Only 9 innings pitched this season, and this has been the first time he's been called upon in the state tournament to pitch. Here he comes. Henry pulls up, looks at first, looks at third, hits it in there, and it's going to be down the third base line. It's going to go foul, and that run will not score because it will go foul. Smart move there by Griffin Hall to let that ball roll because he knew the run was going in anyway. Might as well let it roll and see if you can get a foul ball at it, and he does. Dawkins is up. That's an 0-1 count that he has. The ball was rolling to the left. It finally goes out of bounds, and so we've got an 0-1 count here for Dawkins. Would have been a score for Loudon had it not gone foul. And it's going to be outside. Potts having to dive way outside the batter's box to get that one. 1-1 count. Henry from the stretch looks over at first. Sits up, looks over at third. He's a right-handed pitcher. Sends it in. It's fouled off over here to the stands. And now we got a 0-2 count, just like we got a 1-2 count, just like that. 6-4 the score here. Indians are up. Loudon threatening to score with runners on the corners. The sun, about an hour from setting here in this Smyrna setting. We're here, the home of the Bulldogs at Smyrna High School, one of the sites for the Class AA championship. And it's going to be and that would be a third strike there. They thought it was a drop third strike, but it's only the second out there, or the first out there. So that is a strikeout for Henry. So Henry records his first strikeout of this game. He has had 21. That makes 22 on the year. He's going to look over at first from the stretch, look over at third as he winds up, and in there for the strike. They're going to throw down to second. It's going to get away, go to center field, and a run is going to score from third. That is Lunsford. And now a 6-5 game here with one out in the sixth. And that sends Myers to second there on stolen base. So, an error on the catcher there as he tries to throw down and it gets over the head of the second baseman for the Indians. 1-0 count here. And it's going to be a fly ball to left field, and it's handled well. And that's going to be out number 2 of this inning as fly out to left field there on Hickman. 2 runs, 2 outs in this inning for Loudon. Sequatchie County leads by 1. You got to think that if they can get out of this inning, they want to pad onto that lead because you're not comfortable with a 1-run lead. Henry looks back at second, is going to throw in, and it's going to be low, and a pass ball is going to send Myers over to third there on the pass ball. Gibson with a 1-0 count on him. He's the third baseman for the Redskins. Here comes the pitch from Henry. In there, it's going to be high. Another ball there for him. 2-0 count. They got 1 runner on, 2 outs. That runner is on third. That is Myers. Myers, a dangerous base runner. Here comes the pitch from Henry. Henry, in there, it's going to be just outside that zone for a 3-0 count. If he doesn't watch out right here, he's going to have runners on the corners, and that could spell disaster here late in this one. Henry looks over at third. He's a right-handed pitcher, no problem. In there, it's going to be high, and they're going to give him the walk there, and he's going to send Gibson to first. Brody Bingham coming up. He is the first baseman, number 36 for this Loudon squad. 2 outs. You got to think. You got runners on the corner over here. You got to think, can we get a strikeout here? And history would say no. He got on base. He's been grounded out, flown out, and in the second, he was put out. He was picked off at a third. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be hit to the first baseman. And he's going to tag him as he walks up the line. And that'll end the third. That'll end the 6th inning. The Indians still lead 6-5, making some exciting baseball here. So Bingham is going to ground out to third base, and that's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. The next 3 up for Loudon at the bottom of the 7th is going to be Duncan Smith and Mallory. Mallory started off the scoring in this one. So we're going to take a quick, quiet break here on TSSN Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. And we're back here on TSSN Radio, your home for Indian athletics here at the state tournament, Class AA baseball action going on here in Smyrna, Tennessee at Smyrna High School. The Indians are at the top of the 7th. They hold on to a 6-5 lead after 2 runs, after giving up 2 runs in the last 2 innings from Loudon. Mallory still on the mound, and it's going to be hit by Trevor Ritchie into left field. And it's going to be a sliding catch by Duncan out there in left field, and 1 away here for the Indians as Loudon trying to get done with this one so they can get some more runs in the bottom of the 7th. Austin Mitchell up. He's the first baseman for the Indians, number 16. He is a junior. Father Dusty Mitchell over here on in the dugout over here, and that's going to be a strike. They're going to catch him swinging. Not had a really good day today. Flew out to right field, flew out to left field, grounded out to center field, and just having some trouble there. Here's the pitch. It's going to be hit down the first base line. It looks like another ground out as the first baseman for that's going to be Brody Bingham for Loudon steps on that base. So one out, 2 out. It's a ground out to first. Yeah, it's a ground out to first, and that's the second out of this inning. So 2 outs, nobody on as Griffin Hall steps up to the plate. Here's the pitch. It's in there, and it's going to be a strike. Eight hits by both of these squads, 4 errors by both of these squads. Still a 1-run difference, 6-5. Sequatchie County leads. It's going to be hit down the left field line, and it's going to fall foul over here to my left down the third base line. So that is going to be strike number 2. We got an 0-2 count with 2 outs in this top of the 7th inning. This will be the last inning unless there is a tie game. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be in there, and it's going to be a strike on the corner, and that's going to be the third strike there for Mallory. All right, and that's going to be the end of the 7th there, into the top of the 7th there. And we have a 6-5 lead by Sequatchie County. And just to recap that, I'm going to fly out to left field for Trevor Ritchie, a ground out to first base for Austin Mitchell, and for Griffin Hall, he's struck out by the pitcher, Jacob Mallory, who has 3 on the night. Now let's talk about somebody who has some other strikes there. Zach Lockhart, he had 4 on the night before they gave the ball up to Henry, and no, they're going to change it again. That's going to be number 14, Sergio Camp. He is 0 for 0 this season, and 2 innings pitched, Sergio Camp, Sergiocamp. Sergio Camp helping the PA announcer here because he's helped me out a lot tonight. And 1 strikeout on the season, 4 batters walked, so not a good ratio there. But you know what? He is a left-handed pitcher, so that could come in handy for this Indian squad, especially if they get somebody on first. They don't have to look for the pickoff. It's going to hold those base runners on first, possibly. Up next, Jackson Duncan, number 33, the pitcher for Loudon, is going to start this last inning, lead off this last inning for the Loudon Redskins in what looks like, if the score holds, the last game of their season, but we'll wait until the end of this one to decide that one. Sergio Camp, here he comes. He's going to get some warm-up pitches here, and we're waiting on him to get warmed up. A wild pitch to Potts, and he's going to have to ask for another ball there. And not a great last pitch. Hopefully he'll get another warm-up pitch here as Jackson Duncan, he was the pitcher at the beginning of this game. He handed it off to Mallory, and now he's in left field. Duncan flew out to center field, and was in the second and was struck out in the 4th. He's back up here in the 7th, and we'll see what he does here in this 7th inning. Potts dropping the ball on the throwdown there, and you got to think this Indian team is tired. They had a little rest between that first game today and this one. Loudon playing almost back-to-back, an hour between the end of that game and hour and a half between the end of that game and the start of this one. So you got to think Sequatchie in a better position. If they get out of this when they've done it without Colin Hudson and only 2 innings pitched in this tournament, and you got to think that's good for them. Strike 1 for Sergio Camp, and he's starting off swell. No 1 count here. 6-5 lead the Sequatchie County Indians are holding on to in the bottom of the 7th. In there, caught him swinging, and Sergio Camp bringing some heat here in this 7th inning. We haven't had a left-handed pitcher since last night, and there have been 2 games played last night, this morning, in this game. That's going to be a low pitch. It's going to be outside. So if Camp can get it in there, he's doing a really good job of getting it in there. If he can get it in there, it's going to be coming from a little bit of a different angle, so it's a little bit harder to hit, especially for these right-handed batters. Here comes the pitch. It's going to be outside there, and Potts is going to have to stand up to grab that one. We got a 2-2 count. Can Camp get the first strikeout? It would be his second of the season according to the stats I have. Here's the pitch. Caught him swinging for strike number 2, and what a second strike to have here in the state tournament. Caught him swinging. Why ain't they used him more this season? That's my question right now. Cade Smith coming up for the Redskins, number 41, the shortstop. And we'll wait on the pitch from Camp. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. He's throwing some real heat today. Not sure whether it's the heat or the left-handed pitch or what's going on here, but Camp, he might keep this one. The next pitch coming from Camp, going to be just outside there, and a 1-1 count for Camp. I promise here at the end of this I'll get to the shout-outs. I apologize. I'm having a hard time getting to there. Just smaller breaks between the innings. It's going to be high up in the zone, and now a 2-1 count after the initial strikeout from Camp. 1 out, nobody on. Cade Smith, Mallory will be up next. He scored the run the last inning. Here's the pitch. It's going to be hit. It's going to be popped up to him, and it's going to be a fly out to the pitcher. So Camp saying, listen, I got this all on my own. Y'all just sit back and watch the show. And now 1 out stands between Loudon. 1 out stands between Sequatchie County and a meeting with Forest tomorrow at 2 p.m. here in Smyrna. And the only person standing in their way as of right now is Jacob Mallory, who has been pitching a pretty good game here tonight. Here's the pitch from Camp. Caught him swinging on the first pitch, and Camp might seal this game for the Indians. Here it comes. There it is. It's going to be in there for strike number 2. He doesn't even swing. Mallory, the left fielder, struggling a little bit. Or Mallory, the pitcher, excuse me. They got Duncan out in left field for him. Camp looking through his glove. 0-2 count. Could this be the strikeout pitch? It's going to be outside. We'll have to wait another pitch to see if he can strike out the side in this one. Here comes the pitch from Camp, the left-handed sophomore. And he swings and a miss, and Sequatchie County has a date with destiny tomorrow against Forest at 2 p.m. here in Smyrna. And the Indians come onto the field. If they don't have their gold cap on, it looks like they do as they bleach blonde their hair before the state tournament. So they're all matching out there. And what a game it has been. They come out to greet Sergio Camp. Came out of nowhere. The sophomore, the left-hander, only pitched 2 innings this season, 2 innings. Had 1 strikeout coming into this, and he has doubled that to not in this last inning. Golly, what a game here for the Indians. We're going to hold tight here. We're going to try to get Darren Easterly up here in the booth and talk to him for a little bit, and we'll have an interview with him right after this game. This has been TSSN Radio. Hold on tight. We want to talk to the winning coach about this one here at this juncture. Y'all just hold on for a quiet break here, and we'll be right back. And we're back here on TSSN Radio. Darren Easterly talking to his team out on the field. He's going to join us here briefly after the meeting. So let's give you a little update. Let's go the run-through on this game and show you what happened. For Sequatchie County, catching my breath, just ran down the field and ran back up. I promise you I'm a little lazy, so I still need to catch my breath a lot of times. And here we go. So top of the first, Colin Cooper, he scores a run off an RBI by Bodie Terry, and he does a phenomenal job with that. And we go to the second inning. Griffin Hall and Tyler Limbo score. That puts them up 3-1. Then in the second, Loudon scores off of I believe that was an RBI. No, it was an error there. Cade Smith scores. And into the fourth, it looks like. Yeah, into the fourth, Sequatchie County scores another one with Cade Swanner getting on. That was after a RBI there by Colin Hudson. He made Colin Cooper score and Cade Swanner score. Then on to the fifth, for Loudon, Austin Myers and Cade Dawkins score. And that brought it to 5-4 there. And then another score in the seventh by Sequatchie County, looked it up to 6-4. 2 more runs by Loudon in the sixth, but the damage was done. Sequatchie County hangs on with the skin of their teeth to win 6-5. And now we got Coach Darren Easterly in the booth. I'm going to put the headset on him and ask him some questions. Go ahead. Coach, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. How good does it feel to get a win like that, a close win, 2 in a row today?
Yeah, it's great, man. You know, that's a perfect example of a team win. You know, some guys that hadn't seen a lot of time on the mound this year came in and did a great job for us. You know, hats off to Loudon. You know, they tried to make a comeback, but, you know, when it counted, our guys did what they needed to do, get the outs.
How much of a difference does it make that now you played them twice in 3 games? Did it help you anyway with your strategy or anything like that, and then knowing maybe they weren't going to have their best pitchers out there? Yeah,
I mean, you know, it definitely gave our hitters more confidence. You know, like I said before, you know, those 2 guys that they threw at us last night were the best 2 pitchers we've seen all year. You know, and the guys they threw at us today were quality pitchers, but, you know, we seemed to match up a little bit better with them than we did the first 2.
Now, what can you say about Sergio Camp coming there in the 7th? He's only pitched, from my stats, he only pitched 2 innings all season, 1 strikeout.
Yep.
He doubled that tonight with 2 in 1 inning. What kind of performance was that?
You know, that kid, he works his tail off, you know, and we've just been watching him progress throughout the year, you know, in bullpens and stuff like that. And when it came time for us to, you know, figure out what guy we wanted to throw out on the mound, you know, the first name come up with all 3 coaches was Sergio. You know, didn't really know what we were going to get, but the kid went out there and, you know, pitched his tail off and did a great job.
Did it help any that he was a left-handed pitcher against those righties?
I think so. You know, our scouting reports told us that they had struggled with lefties, you know, and that's why we started the lefty against them last night. And, you know, and Colin Cooper pitched well against them last night, and then Sergio came in, and, you know, I think it helps out that he was a lefty, yes.
Now, he was a sophomore. You got a lot of sophomores working on this squad. What does that say about this team and being able to get some young guys in the mix there on varsity?
Well, you know, and most of them started for me last year as freshmen, so they got a lot of baseball under their belt right now. You know, and this experience right here, you know, just being here and being competitive in the state tournament, I think it's going to help us grow as a team for next year and just help the program grow, you know, in the direction that we want it to grow in.
And also Zach Lockhart, he did most of the work throughout this game. 4 strikeouts for him. I think he pitched the full game during the district championship, I believe.
Yes.
What was going into putting him on the mound tonight for the start?
Well, we got a lot of confidence in Zach. He's a good pitcher, and he attacks the zone well, and you know he's just his off-speed stuff is just crafty enough to really keep hitters off balance. You know, so we knew coming in that was kind of the plan to go with Zach the entire time. We knew at some point up here he was going to get a start. and it just so happened it fell tonight.
So you've got Forest tomorrow. You play them at 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be on the call for that one as well.
Okay.
Did you get to watch any of the Forest Loudon game today, and what do you know about Forest?
They're a good hitting team, athletic. I think there's a lot of similarities in all the teams that were here. Just from what we've seen and what we know, it's going to be another battle.
And so you haven't really pitched Colin Hudson. Of course, that's strategic. You want to keep him fresh, want to keep him good in case you do get to that, semifinal championship final.
Right.
Do you play him at all tomorrow night, or are you just going to try to wait that out and see if you can get by without him?
Well, unfortunately, because of the pitch count, we won't have Colin or Austin tomorrow night. So some guys that we haven't normally seen, on the mound are going to toe the rubber for us tomorrow.
Okay. All right, Coach. As always, we appreciate it. We'll be back on the call tomorrow here, too. Right after the Lady Indians, they play at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and they're in the losers bracket as well. They're going to try to survive and advance here. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, and this is TSSN Radio. That was Coach Darren Easterly on the going to talking to us here about this game tonight. And the Indians out here taking pictures out here on the field, getting in with the family out there on the edge. Saw some softball players out here tonight from that game today. They didn't have a game tonight. They had it this morning. They've got another game at 10 a.m. We'll be there tomorrow in Starplex at 10 a.m. and then over here to this game against Forest tomorrow. The Indians don't have a score for that softball game that Jackson Southside and I forgot what the other team was. I was looking for a score for that earlier and could not find it. I'll update y'all on Facebook who they play. And we will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. sharp at Starplex, and then we'll be right back over here to Smyrna for what should be the last game or last two games, as Sequatchie County will have to beat Forest twice to get to the state championship final, and that's going to be a semifinal matchup basically for the state championship. As always, I'm Chandler Morrison on the call for TSSN Radio. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you tuning in. And we thank all the baseball players and all the baseball friends from all around Tennessee. And as we've seen tonight from Virginia, from New York, all over the place, Indian baseball fans are everywhere. So you might just go to the supermarket and find one, honestly. But this is TSSN Radio. I'm Chandler Morrison. And good night, go Indians, and God bless to each and every one of you. Good night.